وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الصلاة والسلام على رسول الله محمد سيد الآخرين. بعد أن أحسن وجد أسعد أصحابه وجد أشهد المسلمين وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وعلى مدى طريقاتنا والصحبة والخير في الجميع.
We are here in the presence of the holy ones. We are here in the presence of the maqam of the maqams of the holy ones.
Kur'an'da zikrolunan Allah Azze ve Celle'nin övdüğü gençlerle iman edenler.
And we are here in the presence of these young ones, of these youngsters, whom have been mentioned in the Holy Quran and who have been praised by Allah Almighty. We are here in the presence of the holy youngsters who have believed in Allah Almighty.
Onlara Allah Azze ve Celle öyle bir şan, şeref, şöhret verdi ki
and Allah Almighty bestowed His mercy, has bestowed His glory and His honor to them.
Bütün kıyamete kadar insanlar onların hatırası
and they will be remembered up until the day of judgment.
Hem hatıra hem insanlara ders.
And they will be remembered up until the day of judgment, and they will serve as an example to humanity.
Hem ibret bunların hayatları.
Their lives will continue to be a lesson to humanity.
En güzel, yani şimdiki insanların da en lüks hayat yaşarlarken bu hayatı bırakıp, her şeye bırakıp
and they were the ones who left everything for the sake of Allah Almighty. In today's terms, they had everything and having a luxurious life, but they abandoned everything for the sake of Allah Almighty.
Allah Azze ve Celle'ye kaçtılar.
And they fled and escaped and sought refuge with their Lord Allah Almighty.
Allah Azze ve Celle, bir sıkıntı oldu mu Allah'a kaçın diyor Allah Azze ve Celle.
And Allah Almighty says, when you are in a situation of distress, then flee to Allah Almighty, seek refuge with your Lord Allah Almighty.
Avrupa'ya, Amerika'ya, millet ölüyor.
Don't flee to Europe, to America, or wherever people are dying to come to these places.
Veriyor millet oraya gidelim diye.
And they do everything to come to these places.
Allah öyle demiyor. Avrupa'ya, Amerika'ya, Kanada'ya gidin demiyor Allah Azze ve Celle.
But Allah Almighty does not say to you, go to Europe, go to America, go to Canada, go to this place or that place.
Allah Azze ve Celle bana kaçın diyor.
Allah Almighty says, flee to me.
Orada şimdi gidenler Allah muhafaza etsin. Bu insanlar dinlerini kurtarsın diye bıraktığı şeyi bırakıp kaçtılar. Bizimkiler dünyalarını kurtarsın diye kaçıyorlar.
And those youngsters whose maqam we are now here in, they fled their worldly life in order to save their faith. And now we see people, they are fleeing to save their worldly lives, running the risk of losing their faith. They are doing the complete opposite.
Oraya gidelim diyor. Allah Azze ve Celle işte en mübarek yer bizim yerler, buralar.
But where are people fleeing to? Here are the blessed places.
Müslümanlara Allah Azze ve Celle öyle bir şey vermiş ki en güzel şeyleri Müslümanlar vermiş.
Allah Almighty gave the most beautiful things to Muslims.
En güzel şey nedir? İmandır.
And first and foremost, Allah Almighty gave faith.
İman vermiş, onun üstüne dünyanın en iyi yerlerini de vermiş onlara.
And not only did Allah Almighty give faith to Muslims, but also He gave the most beautiful and most prosperous lands.
Ama onu takdir etmeyince cezayı görüyorlar. Cezayı buluyorlar.
But they do not appreciate what Allah Almighty gave to them, both faith and the lands they have. And as they do not appreciate Allah Almighty's divine favors, they are being punished.
Odur mesele budur.
And that is what it all comes down to.
İbret budur. Bu kadar yeter. İnsanlar ibret alsın. Bu mübareklerden Allah için her şeyi bırakmışlar.
And people should take a lesson. Look at these youngsters. They left everything to save their faith, to be with the Lord Allah Almighty.
Allah her şey vermiş kendilerine. Allah hepimize bunlar gibi iman versin.
And may Allah Almighty, and this is the faith we should also ask Allah Almighty for. May Allah Almighty give us a faith as strong as theirs.
Eyvallah. Fatiha.